The year is 1793. Louis XVI has just been executed. France is devastated by its civil war and is now threatened by the First Coalition. Paranoia and terror, oh terror, grips the country by its throat as the people demand more and more purges. As a result, almost 17,000 were executed in just over a year. France now lives under the tyranny of the Committee of Public Safety, with at its head Maximilien Robespierre. Robespierre was born on the 6th of May, 1758, which happens to be my birthday too, in Arras, France. A model student, he studied law practice at the prestigious University of Paris in hopes of becoming a lawyer, just like his father and grandfather. There, he came to admire an idealized Roman Republic through the lecture of Cicero, Cato, and other classical writers. He was also attracted to 18th century philosophers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, whose ideas he would later try to emulate in France. He passed the bar of Arras at the age of 23 as a fervent supporter of direct democracy, which my friend at House of History recently made a video about, believing the people of France virtuous enough to ensure the well-being of the nation. The strength and conviction he showed for these views would earn him the nickname L'Incorruptible. And in 1789, French revolutionary Mirabeau commented, "This man is dangerous. He believes everything he says." With these ideas in mind, he was appointed as criminal judge in 1782 by the Bishop of Arras. Ironically, he would quickly resign over his opposition to the death penalty and instead became a strong advocate for poor clients whom he would defend through ideas of enlightenment and rights of men. In 1783, he was elected as a member of the Academy of Arras, whose meetings he would regularly attend, and in 1789, he campaigned as deputy of the Third Estate to represent the peasants and bourgeoisie. He was young, relatively poor, unknown, and strongly opposed the very system he was running for, which, he believed, failed to represent the people of France. Yet, against all odds, thanks to the support he had gained in the countryside from his avis aux habitants de la campagne, Robespierre won. On the 5th of May, 1789, for the first time since 1614, Louis XVI assembled the Estates Générales to deal with France's crippling debt, which had soared during the American Revolution. When Robespierre arrived at Versailles for the assembly, few deputies had ever heard of him. But that won't last long. Robespierre didn't have the courage of a statesman, the qualities of a great orator, or the belief in himself which marks a great man. No, he was nervous, timid, and suspicious. But his unwavering faith in Rousseau's ideas, however, would make his name. During the assembly, the Third Estate, which were twice as many as the other estates, demanded sweeping political and social reforms and hoped to get it thanks to their higher numbers. However, they were quickly informed that all voting would be based on power rather than number, thus making their superior numbers meaningless. While this event deserves its own video, it's easy to see why the Third Estate was upset and flat out refused to take part of the assembly. Instead, they decided to meet separately by forming a national assembly in Paris, of which Robespierre was appointed as one of its representatives on the 13th of July, 1789. After his arrival to the capital from Versailles that same year, he would get involved with the Society of the Friends of the Constitution, better known as the Jacobins, where he found a sympathetic audience to his ideas. Soon, Robespierre and his supporters, which had come to idolize him for his fanaticism, would dominate the club as more moderate right-wing members left within the same year. By then, the National Assembly had turned into the National Constituent Assembly, whose membership mostly comprised of lawyers and wealthy Parisian bourgeois, occupied with drafting a constitution for their own interests. Robespierre instead favors France's lower classes, particularly Jews, blacks, and actors. Through powerful speeches in front of the Constituent Assembly, he frequently advocated for the Declaration of the Rights of Man, often with great success. Above all, he coined the phrase liberté, égalité, fraternité, which would shape the Republic up until today. He still fervently opposed the death penalty and campaigned for universal male suffrage, price controls on basic food commodities, and the abolition of slavery in French colonies. Quickly, he was recognized as one of the leaders of the small body of extreme left, the 30 Voices, as Mirabeau would scornfully describe them. On the 13th of September 1790, following the dissolution of the Constituent Assembly and the creation of the Legislative Assembly, the people of Paris honored him by naming him one of the incorruptible patriots. But his ideals that Robespierre had fervently defended before would start to falter when, on February 1792, Brissot, leader of the Girondins, another prominent faction of the Jacobins, urged France to declare war on Austria. Robespierre fervently opposed this, as he feared the rise of a Caesar-like figure during these times of war. With great wisdom, he reminded his listeners, in troubled periods of history, generals often became the arbiters of the fate of their countries. This conflict started a great divide within the Jacobins, a divide that will come to set ablaze France for the years to come. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider supporting the channel by leaving a like, sharing, commenting, and if you haven't yet, subscribing. This was Barris. I will see you in a couple of weeks. But until then, merde!